The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN Monday morning, 8:30 a.m., first trading day of 2021, and we're picking up right where we left off, folks, in 2020. We got green across the board. We got the S&Ps right now up about 15 points, trading at 37.64. New highs all day, every day, folks. The NASDAQ up 57 points. I joke, but we are opening basically at record territory almost across the board. Russell going to be lagging a bit, but I think we got the S&Ps, NASDAQ, and the Dow all flirting with highs right around the open. The NASDAQ 100 up 58 points, 12,943. We got daily charts up here to start things off. The Dow up 120, 30,617. The Russell up 13 points right now, 1988. And you see the Russell, the one, we're about 40 to 50 points away from the all-time highs we had coming into the end of the year last week. Commodities, crude up. Right now, you're talking about, down 10 cents at 48.42. How about gold? Up $48. Look at that bar in gold today. We'll zoom it in. Quite an acceleration. Pretty remarkable that November 30th, you were trading at 17.80. You're up more than $160 from those lows. The actual low, 17.67. Quite a run. You're approaching almost $180 from November 30th. As that price rises, we'll zoom it in on the 15-minute. It's been quite an acceleration right out of the gate last night. Futures open at about 19.07. Gold trading higher for the entire overnight session into this morning at 19.43. Silver, check out that acceleration up $1.26 at 27.67 right now. We'll jump over to notes and bonds. Pretty muted action so far. You got the 10-year right now off 2 ticks at 138 flat. The 30-year off 14 ticks at 172.24. We'll jump over to the volatility index. VIX right at around 23 this morning as we kick off trading. Pretty interesting to see, actually. We have the markets positive across the board. You actually have an elevated VIX level. Not usually the case, right? You look for the VIX to pull back as the market trades higher usually. Right now, you're looking at a VIX pretty much unchanged, but nonetheless higher from where we were on Friday, up 17 cents at 22.92. And what else we got going on, folks? We got to talk about it. Did you see the action on Bitcoin over the weekend? Remarkable. Now, Bitcoin was trading over the weekend. So I think it was Saturday or Sunday, because Bitcoin, in terms of the markets, it's trading at 34,170. We were just trading at 22,000, folks. This is a 15-minute, 5-day chart. It only goes back 5 days. It's a default chart on the Thinkorswim platform. It's a 15-minute bars, and you go from 22,000 handle to a 34,000 handle. That's more than a 50% pop. You give it back down to below actually where we were on Friday, just as of 5 a.m. And then since then, we're up $3,000. From 28,500 at 5 a.m., we're sitting at 31,600 for the price of Bitcoin. You put it on a daily. Looking a little parabolic there, folks. You put it back on the monthly in terms of bringing it all the way back. Does the 5-year weekly get us there? It does not. Yes, it does. You know what's so remarkable? We are so far above the highs now that I thought we had not made it back when I pulled it up. You put it on the weekly. We went trading, 2017. So just more than 3 years. Look at that run, folks. Watch out for Bitcoin. Do you remember what this high used to look like on the chart? I mean, let me give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like. That's what it looks like when it's parabolic on the way down, but it doesn't look so parabolic when you compare it to the run it's had recently from 4,200 to 3,400 last year now, 2020. Quite a run that it's had. All right, let's jump around to some of the biggest stocks out there to kick off the year and see how we're trading this morning coming into the first trading session of 2020. We'll start things off with Amazon. Amazon shares up a bit, 32.78, made it to 33.50 last week. Apple shares so far this morning up a bit as well. We get the NQs up about 60 points. We got Apple up to 133.82. We covered Amazon. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft up as well. Quite the volatility we actually saw on Thursday coming into New Year, right? Microsoft goes from 222 to 219 back, basically. I mean, quite the acceleration across the board in terms of the final session. Jumping back to the S&Ps, just to give you a quick glimpse. I mean, everybody was ready for that New Year's rally, folks. We traded from 37.20 up to 37.50 to end the year. And guess what? Since then, we make it up to 37.73, currently trading 37.64. Got to talk about Tesla, one of the banner years of 2020. And guess what, folks? We're going to open higher. We're going to open higher to the tune of about $16 to $7.21. You make an all-time high pre-market at about 5 a.m. of $7.29 on Tesla shares. We're up to about $7.21 this morning. Some of my favorites, Disney was up to $184. You're back to about $182.70. Check in on some of the ride-hailing companies. Uber, look at that volatility. Uber really pulling back. It's been quite an acceleration. Some of my subscribers, when you talk about it, I mean, you really accelerated to the tune of to 56 from 32, right? Nothing wrong with a little bit of a consolidation up here before you trade higher if that's where it goes. We will see. Let's jump over to Netflix shares. Actually down a bit, but pretty tame. Netflix had quite a Thursday going into New Year's from 525 to 545. Quite the acceleration there for sure. All right, let's jump around to what else we got going on. Biggest headline out there was Bitcoin. Not much trading over the New Year's weekend, of course. Bitcoin hits 34,000. We talked about the volatility Bitcoin had. Pretty remarkable as we see that go through and see where it ends up. So MGM Resorts, their raises Entain bid to more than $10 billion. So they're offering the online betting partner Entain more than $10 billion. The amount tops an earlier all-cash bid made last year. So this industry, you're seeing a solidification here in terms of online gaming really picking up. I was talking to a cousin over the weekend and just talking about, he lives in New Jersey, and it's amazing to see the advertising and the avenues bringing people into online gaming. His experience, he's not a big gambler. I'm a big poker player. He knows that from hanging out with me. And he said what happened is that they usually go to the horse track to maybe bet on the Kentucky Derby, right? Maybe you go down there, you have an afternoon, you bet on the Derby. Well, because of COVID, he didn't go down there. So what happens is in Jersey, it's legal. So what happens is he says, so I put some money on to bet on just the Kentucky Derby, because I usually bring my mom down there. It's a fun time. You go to the horses. And what happens is he puts money down to bet on the Kentucky Derby. Completely legal. Horse betting, actually, because of lobbyist folks, I think it's legal like in the entire nation. Somehow they got a exemption in there. But nonetheless, then what do? They bring him into the whole ecosystem. And before he knows it, he can play casino games. He can play poker. Told him to get away from the casino games, get into the poker if he wants to play. At least you have a shot at it with some skill. Nonetheless, it's all solidifying. You get Jersey, Delaware, Nevada, all legal right now. And you're seeing some of these big casinos solidifying $10 billion that they'll be looking for this online. The U.S. sports betting market alone, here we go, expected to quadruple in size to $8.4 billion by 2024. That's a growth rate for you, folks, and that's only 3 years away. Talking about that market, I mean, you talk about like Penn Gaming, right? Is it Penn? Yeah, Penn National. I mean, one of the biggest turnarounds this year. I don't know how it traded down to $3. BK was in the books, but up to 99. My goodness, right? But that's Barstool. That's online gaming in a big way, accelerating higher. MGM shares, quite the year for them as well. Going to open basically flat this morning. Stay tuned, folks. We get the S&Ps up 13. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Are you looking to buy or sell gold, silver, platinum, coins, or bullion? We can help. At Tiger Precious Metals and Stones, we specialize in the buying and selling of gold, silver, as well as collectible U.S. and foreign coins. We not only buy your unwanted or broken jewelry, but you can trade that in for gold and silver coins, too. Call Andy now at 727-329-8245 for a quote over the phone and to lock in the current market price. Call us now at 727-329-8245.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps positive by 16, trailing off a bit from where we were at about 5 a.m. We've given back about 10 points. We'll see where we open up. The acceleration really began at about 2 a.m. Eastern time. You see the pop there on the charts. Tying up to where we were in terms of Europe, kicking things off, you get the DAX up 1% right now. The FTSE's up 2.7%. CAC roll up 1.5%. So quite an acceleration. I mean, our S&Ps right now are only sitting up about 0.4%. To put that in context, again, DAX up 1.1% almost. FTSE up 2.7%. Over in Asia, Nikkei down about 0.7%. Shanghai up about 0.8%. The 10-year yield right now jumping over to that note market again. You're sitting down 2 ticks right now. The 10-year yield coming into 2021 sitting at about 0.926%. All right, we'll jump around to some of the equities moving this morning. Now, of course, we've got to wait until about January 15th. Only 11 days away. You're talking about earnings really start to kick off. Some equities, though, having some action this morning. We'll start off with Tesla. We already talked about it. Tesla trading higher this morning to the tune of about $15. They delivered almost. I read this article over the weekend, and I said, man, Elon Musk must have really wanted that 500,000 mark, but I think he'll be okay considering Tesla's now trading at $720, but they just missed the mark of 500,000. They delivered 499,550 vehicles in 2020, just short of that number they were looking for. They delivered about 367,000 in 2019. I mean, that's quite a boost percentage-wise, what you're dealing with there. All right, what else we got going on? We talked about the MGM bid. The one thing to highlight there is that company owns Ladbrokes, which I'm familiar with that brand. Huge brand in terms of online betting in Europe. And folks, Europeans, they love their gambling. It's a little bit different than Americans in terms of they like betting in-game. They have a bid and an offer where you can almost be the person buying and selling. So let's say you have the Bruins playing the Lightning, right? At any point during that game, there is going to be just like an option. Even if an option's out of the money, you can buy that option, right? Well, if the Bruins are trailing 2-1, there's going to be a price tag that you can bet on the Bruins to win. There's going to be a price tag in game. So they have live bids and live offers, almost like trading. So it's something that is a little bit easier to see how that could become so exhilarating, because it's a different kind of betting. When you talk about that in-game betting with bids and offers, almost like we're familiar with trading. So MGM trying to get ahead, $11 billion, that gaming business exploding. Herbalife's trading lower this morning. You had Icon selling more than half his stake. He goes from 16% down to 6%, sells about $600 million in stock. He made about $1 billion. Maybe more than $1 billion in that trade. Herbalife, though, maybe a little bit worried that their biggest supporter is getting out, and HLF is their symbol, and there you see the drop. Not surprising, from 48 down to 45. We're sitting at 46.53. You put it on a daily for some context. Did that bring us back? Yes, it did. So Herbalife, we were down to about $30 back in April, currently trading 46.43 in that stock. All right, I'm going to jump over to Roku. Roku, we'll call it the Roku rocket ship. There's your 15-minute. We're higher again this morning from 3:30 to 3:45. You put it on the daily, going back a year. Quite the run this equity has had. We start the year off at about 135 last year, dipped to 58, and we finished the year up at around 330. What's interesting here is they're going after potentially Quibi's content library. Now, again, putting it back in the 5-minute. What's interesting here is, so Roku is in advanced talks to buy Quibi's content catalog, according to the Journal. If you're not familiar with Quibi, a short-form video streaming service founded by some pretty big players to the tune of Jeffrey Katzenberg. He's big in DreamWorks, I think it is, animation, right? You also had Meg Whitman, who formerly ran HP. She was in there as well. That company failed spectacularly early this year, though, to the tune of a $1.7 billion failure. I mean, they just came into this market gangbusters. If you're going to start a streaming platform, you probably have to come in gangbusters. Very difficult to come in and be a mediocre player in that market with the type of competition you're facing. If you listen to the program, you know how I feel about Disney. The reason why I feel that way about Disney is because of stories like this. It is so hard to compete in that arena. You got Netflix. You got Prime. We've seen what HBO has now done with Time Warner, really upping the ante. They're going to introduce their big budget films all to their streaming platform. So Quibi spends $1.7 billion, and they go BK almost immediately. A lesson here, you know, if you have a Bloomberg subscription, or if you can find this article, I encourage you checking it out. I believe this was last month. Yeah, November 11th, 2020. I had read this article, and I thought about it when I pulled up that Roku story. And what they talk about, now timing could not be worse here. Right? They launched something that was basically geared towards people on the go, young adults with limited time. Maybe you're on the train, maybe you're in an Uber, maybe you have a few minutes here and there throughout the day. You want to watch a 10-minute clip or less. 10 minutes or less was going to be their content. You were going to have basically series. Redefine the idea of an episode. An episode is 10 minutes. Maybe you have 15 episodes. They're all 10 minutes long. Then the pandemic shuts down. People are at home. Their life changes. The other thing that really put this company to a disadvantage was that they didn't adapt, folks. They didn't adapt to the tune of all of their content was only accessible via mobile at first. And I'm trying to find where it says it, but that's one of the things that they really had to deal with. So here we go. Chunks of 10 minutes or less. They were looking for 25 to 35 years old. $1.7 billion from investors, including, I mean, look who they put up. Now, you don't have a bigger reputation than Katzenberg. You know, maybe Steven Spielberg, right? One of the biggest players out there. He's had deals with probably all these companies. He comes to them. He raises almost $2 billion, and it goes spectacularly of a failure. I'm trying to find all of their information was only viewable via mobile. They didn't realize, they should have, that when the pandemic struck, that was a failed idea. People were in front of their computers, much more so. Anyway, they go BK. Roku looks maybe to pick up their content library. I expect they'll be paying far less than $1.7 billion for that library, and it's going to add to what they have. Roku, an amazing company right now in terms of what they're putting together. I got a lot in my household. Very convenient, very convenient. Okay, what else we got going on in terms of market stocks moving a little bit this morning? So you got Fiat Chrysler, shareholders of their parent group have approved a $52 billion merger. So that merger is going to go through with Fiat. Chrysler shareholders set to vote today. That would clear the way for the completion of the deal by the end of March. Fiat is up this morning on that vote. You have the Delta CEO telling employees in a letter that he expects the airline's cash flow to be positive by the spring, he sees difficulties experienced in 2020 continuing as the new year begins. You know, folks, all I can encourage you to do is get the vaccine if you're not in that super high risk for some reason of allergic reactions to vaccines prior, whatever it be, and we get over this hump. The numbers are pretty stark, folks. I know that we're all kind of aware of them. Be safe. Seeing people out in Florida, folks, I got to tell you, on New Year's, just friends even, lots of parties, lots of happenings. Discouraging to see that with the type of numbers we're dealing with. Just got to make it over the next few months, 6 months. But, man, when we do, I cannot wait to travel around the whole world after this COVID is done. Delta kicking off the year 2021 at about $40.21, pretty much unchanged right now from $40.21 where we were as of Thursday of last week. All right, folks, come on back. We'll go over what other equities we have going on this week, see what else we have happening to start 2021 trading. Stay tuned, folks. Be right back after.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We're going to finish it up talking about a little oil. Check out the action we got from oil last night. Almost makes it within about 17 pennies of $50 on the dot and then you drop $1.75. These moves in crude in a big way, folks. Look at these pops. We're talking 15 minutes. You just trade from 48.40. We're up 50 cents from there at 48.90. Crude, trying to figure out where supply equals demand. Interesting article over there on Bloomberg talking about stronger demand behind the oil prices rebound here. So in terms of change in oil price due to demand, they got kind of on the top side here, U.S. dollars per barrel versus change in oil price due to supply. And you see how demand actually having a greater impact as you come into November and December in that market, much more so than where we were in terms of supply having an impact on the lower side. Interesting as we come into 2021, oil, negative prices in 2020. Hopefully we don't see that again in 2021 as we were dealing with a lot of confluence of different things hitting that market, but we will find out. And we'll finish up with gold as well. Gold continuing to charge higher. $19.44 right now. You're up $49.60, 2.62%. on that market. And folks, if you come over to the front page of TFNN, a great time to try out any newsletter we got, the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien, my dad, I'll be doing the show at 10 o'clock with him. He's got a new letter out this morning. They have a bunch of equities already in there, but he does have a new buy in the Gold Report this morning, Mastering Probability as well. And I encourage you to try my newsletter as well, Rocket Equities and Options Report. I'm going to have a report out for subscribers this morning, and then I'm always putting updates out, folks. I plan to do kind of a year-end review today or tomorrow, talking about the trades we had last week. It's more trades than you imagine. I was going over them on the weekend, and I appreciate all my subscribers out there. My first year doing the letter. We got some solid positions, a solid year to kick things off, and we look forward to kicking it off right into 2021. And don't forget, folks, what else? Our man, Larry Pesavento. Fibonacci 24/7. Larry just put out a great report for subscribers yesterday, and he's probably got like 30, 40 charts in there with an entire write-up. He's got updates out 24 hours a day, folks. He is going to be in control of that newsletter, publishing updates whenever he wants to start today. So give that a try as well. Stay tuned for Larry. He's coming up next, folks. Have a great Monday.